What's going on, everybody? If you see me, I can't see you, but if you can see me and hear me, you know what today is. It is Tuesday, and we have another exciting episode for the Minding My Business Mic Drop podcast. And I'm telling you, every episode has been a mic drop. The nuggets have been phenomenal. And tonight is going to be absolutely no different because the guest that I have tonight is going to talk to you about basically what happens when life starts lifing, because we've all gone through it, where we getting sucker punched, punched in the gut, punched in the lip, punched in the eye, pushed over, tripped. I mean, all the things. All the things are happening. But before I bring her on, for those of you who don't know, my name is Nishika Melton, and I am Simplified Productivity Coach. For someone who thought I was living by being overwhelmed, overworked, overextended, all the things, because I thought that's what success looked like. If you weren't feeling that, then you must not be doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. And they even tell you now you can't get, if you sleeping, you ain't making no money. Foolishness. What I do as a simplified productivity coach, I come in and I help you identify the plethora of hats that do not benefit or pay you the way they should. And then we go in and we work on the strategies that are gonna get you to the life that you say you want to lead, the life you deserve. And that's why I started this podcast, because I wanted to bring other people on to not only share what they've gone through, but also share strategies and nuggets to help you, whether you have a business or not, whether you want a business or not. What goes down on this podcast are strategies that you can use in your life, things to get you thinking about your own journey. So, the magnificent lady that I'm getting ready to bring on is Miss Tonya White. And when you hear Tanya's story, let's not call it a story, her testimony, because I know when I heard it, my mouth was like, all these teeth was showing because my mouth hit the floor. We all have gone through hell and high water, and some people have drowned. Other people gave up, and then some people rose above the storm, and Tanya is one of them. So I'm going to bring her on. And while I'm bringing her on, I want y'all to put into the chat where you are listening from, city and state, country. If you outside of the US of A, put your country in, say hello. You never know, I might call you out or put you on the screen. And always put any questions and comments that you have in the chat, because this right here is live and interactive. So, Miss Tanya, let me get my note, let me get my sounds together. Hold on. Here we go. Miss Tanya, it is so good to have you with us tonight. I'm so excited for you to talk about your journey and what you've gone through. But let me give you the opportunity to introduce yourself in only the way that you can.
Okay, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Tonya L. White. I am first a mother. I am a special education teacher and newly added an author. So I do a lot of things.
That's awesome. So, special education. And we know that there was I'm gonna try to choose my words kindly, but the current administration really did not see the value of special education, and funding was cut and all kinds of things happening. What brought you into that lane of wanting to help those who fully can't help themselves?
Well, first, my youngest son was actually in special education. Um, he was a premature baby. He had a lot of delays, developmental delays. So when he started school, he was already behind because he had all of these issues. So having, that resource to help, by the time he got to fifth grade, he tested out of special education and actually went through high school, graduated with honors, and went to college. So
Woo! Come on, son. Oh,
when,
a round of applause.
yes,
That is phenomenal. Wow. So you weren't just teaching kids, you were living it at home.
yes. And so as a mom, I had to make sure that I went out and found all the resources that I could find to help my baby. I was a single mom, and I was always had the thought, what if something happens to me? Will my child be able to function on his own and, make a living?
Mm. And those are legitimate concerns to have. When you and I talked and you shared with me your testimony, which I want you to share because it's what triggered you or encouraged you, pushed you to start writing.
Mhm.
So tell, and you can be as transparent as you want to be. We are no holds barred on this podcast. You can be as transparent as you want to be, as we have listeners chiming in from Raleigh. What's going on, Raleigh? Lake Waccamaw. I have never heard of Lake Waccamaw in my whole entire North Carolina life. And Greensboro. Let the people know how life came at you.
Okay, so the most recent thing that triggered me to write the journal, to get that published, was I lost my home due to an electrical fire. It was a Saturday morning. I had left home to go to work because I have a weekend job also in mental health. And I got a phone call from my sister. She said that my house was on fire. And in that moment, I really thought, I said, this is a joke. I hung up on her. I hung
Wait,
up.
wait, okay, hold up. We're not just gonna zoom past that like you didn't say what you just said. Um, she called and told you that your house was on fire and you hung up on her.
Yes, because I just did not think it was real. I had just left home and I'm like, it hasn't even been 30 minutes. What could have happened that fast? So she called me back and she said, no, I'm serious. Your house is on fire. And I just froze. And, after a couple of minutes, I got myself together. I drove home and I was just standing in the yard. I was completely devastated because I had just left home. There were no signs that anything was going on. So, after everything, settled down, firefighters did their job. They said that this is something that you would not have known was coming. It was
Mm.
inside the walls. Um, so there were no signs. It just happened. So that day, me and my sons, because I have two sons, we literally walked out of that situation with the clothes on our backs because everything was lost.
I cannot, and I'm sure everyone listening right now is like, I cannot imagine you leave your home, everything is intact, everything's fine. You're going about your normal routine like you normally do. And then you get a call that's so mind blowing. You think somebody messing with you, and your house burns down.
Yes.
Uh, That's a lot. But the crazy part of it all is that that's not all. There's more, y'all. There's more to what you had to face. So what happened next?
So I just at that day I was still with my sister. She lived next door. I literally cried the whole day. And she didn't say anything. She just put me in the car. We rode around, and I didn't know what to do next because financially I knew I couldn't just go out and purchase a new home. I had to start making plans of what to do, but that didn't happen immediately. So
Mm.
temporarily, I moved in with my mom just to save so that I could get back into home ownership. And, you know, when you go through any type of trauma, everyone is concerned and they're checking on you. But after a few days, most of the time people are feeling like, oh, she's over it.
Mm.
They're over it because it didn't happen to them. But I
Right.
was still living through that trauma. Even now, during that time frame, I have a memory block. A few weeks before that happened and a few weeks after that happened, I do not remember. And it hasn't come back to me yet. And so I'll never forget, I was in my classroom and I was getting questioned about some files. I do not know what happened. I can't, and they kept pressuring me like I'm supposed to know, but how do you explain to someone I'm still living this and that trauma is still there. So eventually we got past that, but it's just certain things, the triggers. I'm in a new home now.
Okay.
And when I come into my home, I'm constantly checking things because
Mm.
it's just a mind thing. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
builder of this home, when I told him what had happened, he went out of his way. It's smoke detectors in every single room in this house. Usually there's one in one hall on one end of the hallway and on the other end, but it is in every room in the house. I have automatic air fresheners that go off every 30 minutes because it's just a smell. I still smell the smell that the firefighters, they walked me through the house just to see what the damage was, which it was, like I said, a total loss. But I cannot get rid of that smell. So every time I walk into my home, brand new home, that's what I still smell initially. And then the air fresheners, they help, but it's still something that I just cannot get past. So when people say that there's trauma from a situation, believe them, because looking at me, you would not know that I'm going through any of this because I just didn't talk about it.
Oh my gosh. And this is why when I was posting on social media, why I use the words that I did, because we say sometimes it's with a little laughter, life be lifing, but the reality is there are people who have gone through such traumatic situations that the imprint of that situation is still there. And to know that you still smell the scent, like that is mind blowing to me, that you still smell it even with the air fresheners being sprayed around. Your brain has not let that go. And then the memory loss. It's crazy how our mind. I wish I had I gotta see if I can't find a neurologist or something, because that is fascinating to me that your mind chose to block out some things that happened prior to and after, that you literally cannot recall if you had to. It's gone.
It's gone.
And how long ago has the fire been?
Um, it happened August 13th, 2023. So we're a little over 2 years now. So what, like 14 months? Yeah. So yeah, 26 months. So, you know, in everybody else's mind, she's over it. She's moved on,
Yeah.
she has the new home, but they just don't realize it's still there. Those memories are still there. And I don't know how long I'll still be this way, but I dealt with it.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah.
And Latarsha has put into the chat that she can relate. Her house burned down 16 years ago.
Mhm.
I don't know, because there's a safety thing that's there, because you do have children. It's not just you.
Mhm.
So your every part of your being sounds like it's on heightened alert because of the type of fire that it was. Um and even though the builder put all those smoke detectors in, and did the necessary precautions to try to ease your mind, your brain still has that imprint and is going to do what it feels like it needs to do
Mhm.
to protect you mentally and emotionally. And it's a blessing that your sister was next door to even be able to alert you. That's So you've got the fire that, even though it happened 2 years ago, still very much fresh.
Mhm.
You and your boys, thank God you survived it. You went through the process of purchasing another home, which you are in right now.
Yes.
And what else were you dealing with? Because even though you had all that going on, did your job ever give you time off to deal with all of that?
No, it happened 2 weeks before school started.
Mm.
So I went back to work and nobody said anything. I just dove in. So, and they knew, but no, I did not. No one came to me and said, okay, do you need to take time off or do you need counseling? Just nothing. So it was a lot. It was a lot. I reached out and talked to a few family members and friends, and of
Mhm.
course, sisters, my mom. But when you're talking to people, I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. So a lot of it I kept bottled in. I did talk some,
Mm.
but majority of it was still bottled in.
So that whole scenario is troubling in and of itself, because it makes you wonder, when the kids come and say that they're going through ABCD and they really don't know how to process it. What is the school doing for them? Because you were an employee working with the students.
Okay. Well, my sons, they're an adult. They're both adults. Um,
Mhm.
it was a process for them too. This home is in the exact same place as the previous home. So they have their own things going on. Like my oldest son was in the home when it was on fire. He was asleep and he said he started coughing.
Mm.
Most of the time when people are asleep during a fire, they don't wake up. So it was just a
That's
blessing
right.
that he woke up. And he said he didn't even think twice. He just jumped out the window. So I just have, when I think about that, it could have gone a total different way. It was just a blessing that he started coughing and woke up.
I need y'all who are listening. I need y'all to type into the chat, God is able. God is able. Because you're right. Most of the time when we hear about that, the smoke has gotten so deep into the lungs that they don't wake up. There's no coughing or anything. So wow. Lord have mercy. That girl, child. Okay. So your oldest son was asleep, started coughing, woke up, and just instinctively knew, get out. And he jumped out the window. Um, you had shared with me that you were also caregiver to your parents during this time.
Yes, my father, not too long before that happened, had a stroke. So we ended up, because he has a lot of issues, to put him in a nursing facility, but he still wants us there a lot. So I was going back and forth there. My mom, a few weeks before that happened, had been diagnosed with lupus.
Mm.
So I look at all of that. You know, my mom lives alone. She had lost a lot of weight. I think that happened because I needed to be there with her.
Mm.
When I moved in with her, of course, I'm younger, so I cooked different things, and then she started loving everything, and she did gain some of her weight back. But
Good old cooking.
yeah, so yeah, she gained some of her weight back, but I think that was just, if that had not happened, I would not have moved in with her. So maybe that had to happen for me to help her. Yeah.
Mm. Perspective is everything.
Yes,
So
because I
you were able to
from that
live with
standpoint.
her.
Mhm.
Say that again?
I look at it from all angles, and I thought
Yeah.
about a lot, I needed to be there. So it all worked out, but I was just ready to be back on my own when you're living an adult life and on your own and have to go back to a parent
Uh-huh.
because in their
Uh-huh.
mind, they're still treating you like you were the teen that just moved out.
And you like, but I'm grown though. You like,
Yeah.
grown. Wow. And so just going back to the perspective, what I want everybody to grasp is that in this walk, in this journey of life, perspective is everything. And it's very interesting that you say you probably wouldn't have helped out like you did had you not have to had to live with her. And
Mhm.
she apparently needed you and your cooking so that she could get her weight up, her strength up, and get the nourishment in her body to fight what she was fighting as well. But at the time, because you have the perspective now, but at the time, what did that feel like for you?
At the
Oh, there goes a long sigh.
I want to do it. I just did not. It was just the hardest thing. And I literally would just stay in the room. I did.
Mm,
I just shut myself off. I really did.
wow. Your this whole journey, I think that's a nice word
Mhm.
for it, led you to write. And you wrote a journal. What's the name of your journal?
The name of the journal is And Suddenly Life Got Busy because my life was very, very busy at that time. I was
Mhm.
working full time in the school system as a special education teacher. I had a part time job on weekends. I was completing my master's degree in special education. And then, just making sure my mom and dad were okay. So it was a lot. And I just felt like I was on autopilot. And
Mm.
now I'm looking back at it. I don't even see how I did it, but I did.
So let me recap for the people. Okay. So you're working a full-time job. You go to a weekend job. You're getting your master's degree. You have a special needs son. Your house burns down. You're the caretaker of your parents and had to move in with your mom. I just want to know in the chat, y'all let me know, did y'all catch all that? If you caught all that, put a 1 in the chat. Because my goodness. And to say that suddenly your life got busy, that's like the understatement of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's another word we could put besides suddenly, because girl, all of that at one time. And even I can't say one time, but it was happening back to back to back to back to back. And you being honest, saying, yes, Latarsha, still thinking about others in the midst of her grief and pain. And it was a lot then. It's a lot now. You over here got me stuttering. Um Suddenly life got busy. What how did you come up with that title? What was your process? Because yeah, hindsight is like, well, duh, that makes sense. But while you're in the fire, how did you come up with that title? And then how did writing that journal help you?
Writing the journal helped me because I was able to get clarity. I knew I needed to come up with a budget. I
Mm,
needed to get my debt to credit ratio lower. Um, and I'm always one that has a checklist. I have to visually see it and cross it off. Even though I may put things as reminders or memos in my phone, it's nothing like putting it on pen and paper and coming back. And I actually just Sunday, I was looking through a notebook that I had during that time, and I had a list of things that I needed to get done. And I looked at the list, and everything on that list I was able to cross off Sunday night. And it
mm-hmm.
was just a process for me. I have to start with something, there's a middle and an end. So I start with what the problem is, how I'm going to um, resolve the problem, and then at the end I can see the progress that I've made. If I haven't made progress, then I can go back and see what I've done, where I am, and I can go in and tweak it.
So how did you come up with that title?
The title, it just came to me. I didn't even think about it. I just thought about, I was just so busy, and that was the title. I didn't have to go through possible names. That was just the title.
Hmm. Now, Gwendolyn said you did not stop. You kept going and kept your head up. Let me go ahead
Yeah.
and highlight Gwendolyn because she done put some emojis and whatnot in here. So she got to get a highlight on the screen. So the title just came to you, and it's very natural. I mean, the title makes so much sense. It's like one of those duh, yeah, suddenly your life did get busy, and it got busy when you weren't planning for those things to happen. I mean, it was like boom, pow, bang when I was introducing you earlier and talking about, you get punched in the eye and hit in the gut and tripped, and that's what metaphorically you were experiencing, because when did you have time to breathe?
Uh, I really didn't. Like the first year, I just kept going. It's like I was on autopilot. And
Mm.
I looked at a picture of myself, and I didn't like what I saw. I said to myself, "You look so tired." And I took some time off, and I got back busy as soon as after I took the little break, I got back busy. But during when I got back busy this time, I started taking a little bit of time for myself.
Okay.
Instead of just going, 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 I took time for myself.
Now, everybody has their own idea of what self care looks like. You know, we've got some people that do the massages, some people go get their hair and nails done and get the or their mani pedis. What did that look like for you? What did you do to take care of yourself?
For me, and this sounds so simple, I would just take a weekend, book a room, and just be me and nothing else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's needed. I mean, did the massages, mani pedis, things like that, but I just needed to be away from things and have my thoughts to myself where I could think clearly.
Mm. So it sounds like your self-care was letting your mind rest and
Yes.
just have that weekend of peace where there was nobody calling you text. Lord, Gwendolyn, Gwendolyn, I'm glad you on, girl. Because give us all the tea, give us everything. Gwendolyn said Tonya is not only a special ed teacher, she drives us. You drive a school bus.
Yes, I drive a bus also. When I say I do a lot, I do a lot.
Just now, there's only 24 hours in one day, no more, no less. So you teach at this. Do you drive the bus for the same school that you work at?
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, Anissa done come on. Listen, if y'all know the tea, get light up this chat because Sister Girl is not telling everything. So Anissa said that you're a tax preparer as well.
Yes. I'm a tax preparer, a notary, travel agent. I do a lot. I really do.
Well, no wonder you got to take a weekend to yourself. When you go on the weekend vacation, staycation, whatever it may be, do you turn your phone off? Like, do you totally separate yourself from the outside world?
Yes. And I'm one of those, I like to go somewhere, how do I say it? Anything that I've read in a book, like a location, and it
Mhm.
piques my interest, I like to visit that place. I love to take pictures of it and then I'll post it on social media. So the most interesting place I would say, and it sounds, if you were to go there now, it looks boring.
Okay.
Um, Zor, um, Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Were Watching God, in the town that
Uh-huh.
she describes in that book.
Uh-huh.
I went there. It's right outside of Orlando, Florida. And when you go
Okay.
through town and you can actually picture the houses, it looks exactly like she described it way back in the early 1900s, but they've upgraded them a little bit, but it looks exactly like it. And I just had to go there, Eatonville. So it was like one of the first Black incorporated towns. So I just had to go see it. So I like to do things like that.
And I have read that book, but now you sparking a little curiosity. Now I got to go back and read that again because I think I read that book when I was in college and I haven't picked it up since. So, okay, Tanya. Now see, let me tell y'all. All right, let me tell y'all. When I did the interview with Tanya, because I vet people to come on this podcast. Well, the people that I have on this podcast, they are superb. Okay, I'm not bringing bottom feeders on this podcast. No harm, no shade, no disrespect to anybody. Okay, but everybody gets vetted. She ain't say nothing about being a travel agent and a tax preparer and a school bus driver. So thank you, Gwendolyn, and Anissa. Thank y'all, cause she ain't telling everything. And I see you posting on social media, but I haven't seen any of your trip pictures? Have you gone to any places recently?
No, I kind of
Okay.
paused traveling to get back into my home, but I already have some amazing trips planned for next year. So 2026, I'll be back to posting those things. Yes.
Tell her. Tell her. Oh, and see, and thank you, Wanda, because Wanda says she didn't tell me that on our podcast either. That's because you didn't have Gwendolyn and Anissa in the doggone chat. See, they up in here on today, so they not gonna let nothing slide. I already, yeah. Okay, they come armed and ready. Okay, so Tonya, looking back on what you did, what you went through, because I want to leave the people, I want to give the people um some strategies because like I said, there's people who didn't go through what you went through. But whatever their test was, whatever their experience was, they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they're physically here, they're mentally gone, they're emotionally tapped out. Can you give some strategies that you used and still use today to help those individuals when life just suddenly comes up on them and they get busy? Let's talk through some strategies. Give me one and let's talk through it and then we'll do another one.
Okay, so first I'm going to start with I'm an introvert. So I love, love, love to do things. I love to go to events, but I'm there and not there at the same time. It's like I have to turn it off and turn it on. So with that being said, I'm not, once you know me, yes, I'm going to talk and, we'll discuss things that are more personal. But when I was going through this, I just didn't want to burden people. I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. But I also knew working in mental health, I did not want to slip into depression.
Mm,
In that, I just kind of shook myself up because I know that that's a dark place and sometimes people just cannot pull themselves out of that.
yes.
And I had too many people depending on me to let that happen. So I started writing. Writing is something to me, it comes easily. I will get a notebook or I'll type it out. I'll just pull up a Word document and just start typing things. And then I'll later come back and be like, oh, I need to use this. But
Mhm.
writing to me, it just relieves so much stress. I just, it's a stress reliever. It helps with my anxiety because I'm able to get out whatever it is I'm thinking about.
Okay.
And when that happens, I'm able to sleep because I'm not stressed. The anxiety is not there. And I've had some release of what is actually bothering me.
So when you write, do you put down whatever's on your mind? Do you try to come up with a topic or a theme? Are you is the strategy to let me just empty out? What's your strategy with that when you start writing?
I just empty out. And then, if I want to get a little more organized with my thoughts, then that's when my journal comes into play because it has the affirmations, it has a note taking section, goal you can do task, and then even at the bottom of the page it asks how productive were you today and you can rate yourself.
Mhm.
So the journal is not dated, and that was done on purpose because in the past I've been so good for buying a planner, and when you buy the planner you have to start it or it's not any good anymore because it's dated. This
Mhm.
journal you can start in any month of the year, and then it just rolls over because it's not dated.
So for those of you who are listening and listening live as well as the replay, I want you to catch that because I know people who have been told, journal, write, and the first question they ask is, "Well, what am I supposed to write about? I don't know what to write about." You overthinking it. You're overthinking it. Just
Mhm.
write down what's on your mind because you're the only one that's going to read it. You don't have to share it with anybody. Okay. And to hear you say that, you didn't want to go down that very dark road of depression is refreshing. Um, there's a lot of people who have gone down that road, and I've met some people who didn't even know they were depressed. They had gotten adjusted and they didn't even know that they were depressed. So, guys and gals, if you are, and I know this is going to sound like a PBS commercial, but I don't bear with me. If you, yes, writing can be very therapeutic. If you are going through and you are being challenged and you don't know how to communicate it to anybody, go to the Dollar Tree and get you $1.25, which now shoot by tomorrow it might be $1.75, Chef. They go up a quarter, seem like every few months. But go get you just a little notebook and just write and get it off your mind. You never know what you might be creating your own journal or book for somebody to help them. And I love the fact that your journal is not dated. And I think that is very important because the person who picks it up in March will still have a full 12 months because it's not dated. And that's something that I implemented with my own because people are going to buy it at different times, but you still want it to be usable and useful to them. So we have a question and then we'll get back to the strategies. Um what made you want to share your testimony, Tonya? What made you comfortable with sharing?
I felt like because when that happened, I did not know what resources or what I needed to do. I was just winging it. I felt like at the end, when I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, I wanted to help someone else that may be going through some type of trauma. It could be a death, just any type of trauma. It didn't have to necessarily be a fire, but the tools that I use to help me. At first, I did not have the journal. I was just writing in a notebook.
Mhm.
But I knew I wanted to do something that would help someone else that may have been going through something similar.
Now, would you say that your journal is for male and female? Like, is
Yeah.
it can men and women? Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you what how I get in my feelings. Okay, women will go buy stuff that a man creates, a woman creates, a child creates, but doggone men folk. No harm, no shade, no disrespect. But these doggone men folk act like if a woman made it, that it's not for them. Or if it has too much of a feminine color, then it's not for them. So y'all heard it. Her journal is for everybody. Now, what would you say would be the youngest age that your journal would make sense for? Is it like an 18 and over, or what would you say is your age range?
Right now, the youngest has been freshman in college, so I would say 18.
Okay.
Um, yes.
Cool deal. So the first strategy is getting the stuff out of your head, writing it all down, not trying to have a theme or a topic, just emptying out. What was another thing that you did to help you get past for those of you that are just joining? Let me recap for you. Tonya went through, first of all, she was working a full-time job, a job on a weekend. Her house burnt all the way down because of an electrical fire. She has a special needs son. She was getting her master's degree. All this happening, all this together like a gumbo. And caregiver for her parents, and her mom was diagnosed with lupus. So for those of y'all that are just joining in, she life was giving her the right, the left, the uppercut, all the things. So what was the other thing that you did to help you stay in your right mind?
I had to get time frame out of my mind. Everyone had a time frame for when I needed to do things. And we all know even in the beginning, insurance for a home is not like insurance for a house. Insurance for a home is not going to pay within 30 days and you just go out and buy another house like it would be a car. So I had to get that out of my mind because it was stressing me out. And I, just had a talk with myself. I'm not living on anyone else's timeline and I have to do what makes sense. Then there was the rush from people, you're not in a house yet. And I'm like, no. And I just left it at that because why would you say something or ask me something so stupid? That's what I thought. So I just had to
Exactly.
ignore a lot. And that helped me a lot. I mean, because people will set all these time frames and they're really unrealistic, very unrealistic. And, if I had let those things, that would have hindered me from moving forward and making progress and doing what I needed to do.
Okay, y'all, because people, you know what, honey, people can be so out of tune, out of line. It is utterly ridiculous. Like if anybody knew that you didn't have a house yet, it would be you because you with yourself all the time. So for people to make comments like that, one thing that I teach is not living up to other people's expectations, other people's dreams, just discarding that. So y'all are hearing it also from someone who it sounds like you were being inundated with it. You had to shut down the foolish expectations and even recalibrate, it sounds like, some of your own.
Yes.
Um, and that in and of itself is a challenge, especially if the comments are coming. Because I don't know how many of y'all can relate, but you'll go through the process of clearing your head and getting yourself together, and you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And you can't even get out the door good, and foolishness and mayhem just hits you again to where you're knocked back a couple of steps. So, what were some of the, and I'm sure you have them in your journal, what were some of the affirmations that you spoke over yourself? Because that recalibrating wasn't just one day. I'm sure you had to combat that over several weeks.
Yes. Um, I don't have a favorite affirmation, but one thing that kept me writing is write the vision and make it plain. That's in the Bible. And
Mhm.
tell you, I wrote the vision, things that I had forgotten about when I went back and saw this little checklist. I wrote these things and now they're coming to fruition. Like once I got the journal published, I did not know what I was going to do next with it. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So I gifted it to someone at the university where I got my master's,
Mhm.
and she immediately looked at it and smiled And within 5 minutes, she booked me to come to the college to speak to the freshmen. I was blown away. So that gave me the first thing, okay, I can have speaking events. And
Mhm.
then when I got there, well, before I got there, I said, well, what do you want me to do? She said, I just want you to talk about your journal, give them some tips on organization because you just graduated. So I can relate. So then I thought, okay, I can create journaling workshops. So all of these things came to mind because I went and gifted this journal to one person. And so that's what I'm doing now.
Sowing seeds. And Crystal Graham says, "Hi, Tanya." She wanted to shout you out. Um, did you ever feel like your story, your testimony wasn't worth sharing?
I did because, like I said, I'm the introvert. I'm the person, I'm there, but I'm not there. You wouldn't know it because
Mhm.
I'll sit purposely near an exit. So if it becomes too much, I can just leave. So nobody knows.
Wow.
So I thought, well, who's going to want to hear my story? I'm not this outspoken person, the popular person, So that was my thoughts. Yes, very much so.
That's so wild because I'm the person that's in the center of the room. Like I know where all the exits are just because of, you know, how I've come up or whatever. So I know when I walk into a room, I'm looking for the exits just in case something jump off. So it's a totally different reason. Just, we all have our past. But I'm the person that I do observe and I sit back and look and see who's who and what's what, who being fake and phony, who being extra, who do I actually want to connect with, who doing too much and like, nah, I don't have time. But to know that you position yourself near the exit so that basically when you're tired mentally and emotionally, you can try to slip out unnoticed.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, well, are you coming to Author All Stars in December?
Yes, I will be
Okay,
there.
let me tell you what you won't be doing. Let me tell you. Let me tell you what you will not be doing because I'm gonna look for you, Miss Tanya, and you're gonna be on my hip. You hear me? There will not be any slipping out in December. Wow. And we got one person who says they totally do that and slip out themselves. Wow. Y'all do exist. I had no idea. And I have my daughter, she claims she's an introvert. But when we and I guess it makes sense because when we go places, she'll follow, in behind where I go, and I'm the loud person. And we went to the Hallelujah One tour in Greensboro, and I needed some gum, and the DJ was putting his stuff together, and I was trying to get his attention because nobody around me had any. I asked everybody. So I was going to see if he had some. And my daughter was like, "Oh my god, of course you would." I don't think about it. Wow. Okay. I need like a whole nother podcast episode for that. All right. So let's go through the strategies. You empty out with the book, with your notebook, writing things out. You shut down all the expectations. Gwendolyn, that's where me and you can hang out. Gwendolyn says she totally opposite, front and center. Gwendolyn, you my people, Gwendolyn. Okay, you are my people. Um, you shut out the noise from not only other people, but within yourself that was creating unrealistic expectations because that creates stress.
Mhm.
And then you had the affirmations that you would speak over yourself. Which you also said, if I remember correctly, that you have affirmations in your journal.
Yes.
Now, Tonya, I want you to look at the time. What time is it, Tonya?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all. Because Tonya was worried. She looked at some of the other episodes, which y'all need to go see as well. Make sure you are subscribed to this. Subscribe and like it. And she didn't feel like she would have enough for an hour. I told her, I said, yeah, I got you. I got you. And we almost at an hour. What? Okay. See, I can do a whole nother part two with you. Let's do this because you have a contest for yourself where you are wanting to sell at least 20 journals by when?
By November 30th, the end of the
By
month.
November 30th. So this is what's the link to purchase the journals, Tonya? I'm gonna put it in the chat.
It's on Amazon. Let me see.
So you can go to Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the title is
And
Suddenly Life. Oh,
got
and Suddenly. Okay. And
and it's a
Suddenly.
yes. And suddenly life got busy.
Now, don't y'all forget that and Suddenly Life got busy. So Wanda Pearson says she got hers. She got hers. So listen, I need, even if you're watching the replay, we need 10 people, 10 to go on Amazon and purchase that book, purchase that journal. And even if you already got yours, who can you bless with a copy? Think about, and if you have to pray about it, because like Tonya has said, and we all can attest, you don't know who going through. Because we have learned how to hide stuff. Crystal, you getting yours tonight? Yeah. Let me go ahead and highlight you, honey. Got it. Let God show you. Go ahead and buy another copy for those of you who financially can. And let God show you who to bless it with. And he will show you. He will show you who to bless with that journal because we want her to go beyond what her goal is. Okay? And for those of you who have a business or a service, a product that you want to highlight, this podcast has not been on that long, but already my views are out the wazoo. Y'all, this podcast is getting out there. It is getting out there. If you are interested in getting more visibility for your product, your service, your business, you can actually have a commercial on this podcast, and every commercial will play at least twice per episode. If you are interested in that, then I want you to email me. And I'm putting my email address in right now. Email me and let me know you are interested in doing a commercial on this podcast. The visibility is only increasing. So, Tonya, Gwendolyn has said that you have encouraged her so much to write, which is that's amazing. the impact that you are already making. And before we close it out, y'all, if y'all have any additional questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. You gonna Gwendolyn said she gonna email me as soon as she write her book. Girl, get on them pre-sales, girl. Don't wait till you write the book. You get on them pre-sales. Holla at your girl. Holla at your girl. Y'all put your last minute questions in there. Those of you that are watching via replay, when you do your comment or your question, put replay either before or after your comment or question. That way we know where you came in, and it also helps me with my analytics and my data. Tonya, what would you like to leave the audience with? And then I got a question. I got a question for you because we do something special on this here podcast.
Okay. What I would like to leave them with is don't let people set timelines for you.
Mm.
Create and run your own race.
They don't have a snapping sound. Yes, I'm gonna put it in. Run your own race. Honey,
Yes.
that is so powerful. That is so powerful. Run your own race. I absolutely love that. Now, we have on this podcast, every person that's on provides a question, but you also answer a question from the previous guest. So, your question is what, and I'm reading from the paper because I don't want to mess it up. What do you want to accomplish in this life and for your legacy? What do you want to accomplish in this life and for your legacy?
Um, Thinking just on my journal, what I want to accomplish is to get it into the hands of as many people as possible. I also am going to do a follow up journal, a 90-day reset. Now, this journal, this is my baby. It's always going to be my baby because it's the first one. But
Mm-hmm.
some people may be overwhelmed with the size because it is a page for every single day. So, total, I think it's 396 pages. So, that's not the
Okay.
average. So, I want to do like a 90-day reset. And I do want to, because I work in special education, I do want to create a journal just for those with special needs.
Mm. So that will be part of your legacy that you leave behind. Your journal, your 90-day reset, and then something for individuals with special needs, which is absolutely amazing. Um, what would be the question that you would want to leave for the next guest?
Just something simple. What's stopping you?
Ah, yeah.
Because sometimes we get in our own way. I know I did for a long time, and I had to just get out of my own way.
Hmm. What's stopping you? Absolute toodle. All right, y'all. We thank you so much, Tonya, for being on tonight on the Minding My Business mic drop. For those of y'all in the chat, per usual, the chat on this podcast is lit. I be trying to tell people, listen, the people that join my podcast, they be on it. And listen, I want y'all to put a reminder in your calendar to join me every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you have subscribed. Make sure you like this video. If you came on tonight to support Tonya, you want to like the video, subscribe, and tell others to watch this video to show the support for her. So I pray that you all have a fantabulous Thanksgiving. Eat all you want. Don't let nobody tell you not to eat a lot because you running your own race, honey. Eat all you want and recover on Friday. How about that? Eat all you want on Thursday and recover on. Oh, Crystal said, Crystal, oh, Crystal
Oh,
gonna get
my
a hand clap. Hold on, Crystal, Crystal just ordered her journal. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you make it do what it do. And Tonya, thank you again for joining us. You all, I will see you next Tuesday. Take care.